In his book, Behold a Pale Horse, Cooper reveals classified Defense Department files to which he had access during his service with naval intelligence. This briefing data confirmed the Alternative 3 scenario. A symposium was held in 1957 which was attended by some of the great scientific minds then living. They reached the conclusion that by or shortly after the year 2000, the planet would self-destruct due to increased population and man's exploitation of the environment. By secret executive order of President Eisenhower, MJ-12 scholars were ordered to study this scenario and make recommendations from their findings. MJ-12 confirmed the findings of the scientists and made 3 recommendations called Alternatives 1, 2, and 3. On May 22, 1962, a space probe landed on Mars and confirmed the existence of an environment which could support life. Not long afterward, the construction of a colony on the planet Mars began in earnest. Today, cities exist on Mars, populated by specifically selected people from different cultures and occupations taken from all over the Earth. A public charade of antagonism between the Soviet Union and the United States has been maintained over all these years in order to fund projects in the name of national defense, when in fact we are the closest allies.
Understand, young folks, when you put property rights ahead of human rights, understand you're tampering with nature. That's right. You see, property rights is controlled by man, and human rights is controlled by nature.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And welcome back, hipsters, to another exciting episode of Hips News. Today, we will talk about some magnificent and alluring subject matter. As you know, in the late 40s, early 50s, there were ideas and subject matter that was very crucial to the building of America's society. And even in that time, as the Tavistock Institute was still manipulating and creating their idea of the perfect world, they gathered along with the president at the time and created a group, as you may know now as the MJ-12 or the Majestic 12. And in this episode, we will discuss their ideas and their plans to progress society and even clarify what they thought would be to the coming future. The subject or the idea is called alternative number 3. Of course, you have 1, 2, but 3 is the one that we're focusing on today when we're talking about colonization of Mars and having access to the moon and to space. It should be an interesting episode. I'm Vessel 1, with me Vessel 2. Vessel 2, how are you today?
All is well in the kingdom. Another good topic, a lot to learn. Lessons should be passed all the way around. Alternative 3. I'll say you,
let's do
Vessel.
this.
Are you in good spirits today?
Hey, I can't complain. I'm happy. Another day above ground is another blissful day.
I agree with that. Okay, so let's jump into it. Let's see what we can learn today. Alternative 3, the secret Mars
Colony.
colony. Yeah, okay, secret Mars colony.
Mr. Basiago termed the cover-up of the Mars colony Mars Gate and called for a congressional investigation of the United States' presence on Mars. Ms. Eisenhower stated that Alternative 3, the notion that trillions of dollars of resources are being spent to protect human life by placing it on Mars, should give way to Alternative 4, a new public awakening to achieve a sustainable civilization on Earth. Such claims sound like the wildest fiction, worthy of an Ian Fleming thriller novel or 007 movie. But closer examination of these revelations suggests a more disturbing plausibility. In June of 1977, a documentary edition of Science Report was aired on Anglia TV in Britain that examined Alternative 3, an investigation of rumors that scientists had determined that by the early years of the 21st century, the Earth's surface would be unable to support life due to pollution leading to catastrophic climate change. It was proposed that there were three alternatives to assure humanity's survival. Alternative 1. The first involved the detonation of nuclear bombs in the stratosphere in order to allow the pollution to escape into space. Alternative 2. The second alternative was the construction of elaborate underground bases. Alternative 3. The third alternative was to populate a survival colony on Mars. Shortly after this video was aired, it was debunked as a hoax, a clever dramatization parading as an investigative news report. However, this fiction was in part based on solid evidence that alternatives 1, 2, and 3 were seriously proposed programs.
The introduction to Alternative 3. What say you, Vessel 2?
It's interesting. I think that it reminds me of a reggae song, and I'm gonna pull it up and play for the family later. But I don't know too much about the plan itself, so I'm still learning. But it seems that they messed up this place so bad that yeah, we're gonna have to have another place to go. Now the question is everybody gonna be able to get on that bus and ride up out of here? And what is the plan as
Exactly.
far as who's able to go and who's gonna be able to or who's gonna stay? And what are we staying? What kind of conditions will we be staying in? And then what are the real conditions once you get to where they say they want you to go? That's my thoughts. How about you,
Exactly.
Vessel One?
You took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was thinking. Again, who are they, and who are they to decide what is the correct measures, what to do, and how to better uh, the world after they destroyed it. It shows right there that their plan is not to improve, but to go ahead and destroy for another purpose. You know, before you can even go to that next state or level of populating or putting people in a different atmosphere, you should try to sustain what you have at your, surrounding. But again, these guys, they just continue to destroy, and it's like a sickness. It's nothing that's beneficial. It's just more and more destruction and chaos, and obviously they really don't think or or, or even care about how it's going to affect others. others. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was very important to point this out, especially at this current time frame when we're dealing with uh, uh, the Middle East, Palestine and such. That if they're really trying to push and shove to the point where before giving it all up, causing World War III and having another nuclear attack, a Samson option per se, where it's all going to lead us to. But as you can see, they already have been having this plan from way back 1947 or so. So, just my thoughts.
War, when threat of nuclear exchange with the Soviet Union seemed a clear and present danger. Markings on the huge boring machines clearly reveal their military utility. According to the testimony of Mr. Basiago and Ms. Eisenhower, Alternative 3 has already progressed far beyond the theory stage, suggesting that fantastic advances in classified space transportation technologies have pushed this project into solid reality as well. Obviously, preserving our human genome is a worthy endeavor. Establishing colonies on Mars or other worlds in space as insurance against unforeseen Earth cataclysms or wars seems a humane, noble pursuit. But is such an admirable project convenient cover for darker ambitions? Does a breakaway military-industrial conglomerate entertain plans to occupy Mars and the rest of the solar system in a covert scheme to advance the territorial ambitions of a hidden totalitarian order? Is a secret fraternity of privileged elitists engaged in refashioning humanity into a species of their own invention? How ironic it would be to find we've launched the War of the Worlds scenario in reverse, with an aggressive army of human invaders from Earth descending upon the Martians. The increasing frequency of natural disasters is making human survival on planet Earth more tenuous. Each year we see more earthquakes, tsunamis, solar flares, severe storms, and volcanic eruptions. But are they man-made? In retrospect, it appears that Western civilization has been deliberately designed to self-destruct by the early years of the 21st century. The economic deterioration, runaway inflation, foreclosures, Wall Street instability, and loan company scandals all seem to be key to a predetermined schedule. As well, the degradation of the environment with massive oil spills, and more recently, the spreading radiation leaks due to the 2011 Japan earthquake, seem to serve a deliberate program of mass population reduction. The insatiable greed mentality of the corporate ruling elite sees the planet and all of its inhabitants as expendable commodities, to be used then discarded like so many styrofoam cups.
Any thoughts, Vessel One?
Again, as you can see, all their ideas and designs are falling in place as we speak right now. We're in 2023, heading to 2024, and everything that they talking about is coming to pass. This documentary is a collaboration of over the years, um, from late 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even the 80s. I think this documentary was presented on UFO TV in 2016, 17. So it's only a few years old. But as you can see, everything is coming to pass. Inflation, shortages, diseases, all types of famine and catastrophic, weather changes, HARP, All this stuff is coming to pass. So again, it's the longest time. It's just now, we're able to see what was in the dark, that was hidden. It's now in plain sight.
Mm.
How you feel, Vessel too?
Some of those people out there, they're on that mind frame. It was written in the
Yeah.
book of life, but this playbook is not about the book of life. This is the playbook of death right here, and it is not written by anybody who's got any good intentions on helping people at all. Yeah, this is sick.
Not at all,
This is
right?
whoever's behind this needs to be held accountable.
Exactly.
And it's okay.
Totally.
All right, let's see what else is this agenda that they've worked on for decades. What how is their what is their end game? Let's see.
Walter Cronkite and CBS Television confirmed our civilian space agency harbors a secret agenda. The NASA that we've known for 50 years has been a lie. The governmental institution known as NASA is a department of the executive branch ultimately answerable solely to the President of the United States, an agency created through the National Aeronautics and Space Act of 1958. NASA ostensibly is a civilian agency exercising control over aeronautical and space activities sponsored by the United States. But contrary to common public and media perception that NASA is an open, strictly civilian scientific institution, is the legal fact that the space agency was quietly founded as a direct adjunct to the Department of Defense. This is directly contrary to everything we've been led to believe regarding NASA for over 50 years now. Integral to secret space-based defense strategy planning has been the establishment of bases on both the Moon and Mars.
I always thought NASA was part of the government, but I didn't know it was a private ran organization. But then I did
Mhm.
know that it was founded and started by Americans who imported the Nazi scientists from Germany after the war. So I
That's
know
that's
it's
correct.
not it's not um it's not the Anglo-Saxons who are running this organization, whether it's private or part of the military. It's the German Nazis who are in control of all of this. So, I mean, to me, it really doesn't make any sense because I'm not European for one, but it seems like their biggest failure was creating made up concepts such as race. And they included everybody under their label to be one solely based on their color of the skin, which in itself is racist. And then you peel back any kind of onions to any of their organizations, all of them are corrupt as hell.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
we can't say that it's using their terms. We can't say it's white people because that's racist. Then they would say it's reverse racism. But we didn't make up these categories. So why is it a problem when we use the terminology that's been forced down our throat to describe the nonsense that they created? Why is that such a problem? How come they can't have these simple conversations regarding race that they started and they want to act like it's the ultimate sin to point out how corrupt and how disturbed their agendas have been through their creations? It's a bunch of crock, my opinion. Just my opinion. What say you, Bess?
Your opinion is very valid, and you tend to answer the question that you pose. Why is it that when others, even if not been included under the so-called umbrella of race, or what they consider white race, or Anglo-Saxon race, or Zionist, or whatever they want to call themselves, when you speak about these things and you speak, it's literally expose them to the point where what they what they have done and what they have created is monotonous. It's totally malarkey. It's totally some form of um, mental illness, retardation, if you want to call it that. But overall, it proves the point that either they're trying to do it for their own benefit to outmaneuver one particular skin color, pale skin color person to the other. So again, like we stated or we mentioned, and many times, that a lot of this stems from European prejudice in itself. They haven't got along with each other, and a lot of the wars were created coming out from Europe, you know. So it pretty much, again, when you asked the question, or you stated or posed that question, it's pretty much the same answer, or that you already answered that question by doing so. They don't want you to mention it because you make it seem so clear. If you can pick up on it, why why else anybody can't? Why others can't? And that's the craziness about this. And it's something, like I said, it's an internal remorse within their idea of mind frame. They don't trust each other, so they don't trust anybody else that don't even uh, represent or even come close to what they're know of. I mean, if we talk about complexion. So yeah, it's a it's a evil game that they play. Any other input? Russell too.
I'm wanting to see how this ends. They haven't really clarified if they even know how this is supposed to end. But we are all being pushed to the edge. If UFOTV, if this document, so far from what I'm hearing, it kind of is, it's true to the extent that you can see for yourself now, just by paying attention, that we have been pushed according to an agenda.
In his call for a Marsgate investigation was the practical advantage of teleportation technologies. Present forms of mechanical transportation are clumsy, antiquated, expensive, petroleum-dependent contraptions that foul the environment. Teleportation offers an economical, planet-friendly alternative that can replace such outdated technologies. So perhaps being whisked down a wormhole to another world is not such far-fetched fantasy as we might think. With 2012's science fiction adventure movie, John Carter, was Disney Corporation actually sharing a glimpse of what state-of-the-art space travel has become? Curiously, in 1957, the very same year, mentioned in Cooper's classified military files that referenced the Alternative 3 Symposium, a Walt Disney television program entitled Mars and Beyond publicly stated, "Today, as we face the serious problems of overpopulation and depletion of natural resources, the possibility of Mars becoming a new frontier is of increasing importance in our plans for the future."
Of the morning, I'm gonna chase you out of earth. I'm gonna put on an iron shirt and chase Satan out of earth. I'm gonna put on an iron shirt and chase the devil out of earth. I'm gonna send him to outer space to find another race. I'm gonna send him to outer space to find another race.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm passing out iron shirts. I'm ready to send Satan to wherever he want to go. Satan want to go to Mars, off with you, Satan. You can go ahead and pack it up and go. I'm not trying to stand in your way. I wish you the best.
Yeah. Well, there was a part of that documentary that they were saying that during the time of when they first was releasing this information, they did the same thing, just like Area 51. They did a rebuttal and tried to revoke that information and said it was science fiction. And they even got to the point where they created a British TV series, something like the X-Files or such, where they can look like some people would be kidnapped or so. So it became more of a science fiction thing. But yeah, this all was back in the time of MJ12. Um, I will include some other maybe another video or two towards the end, but overall, the I thought they was on the chat, but they're not. and and in the chat itself is they have the article states that they had teleportation from the moon to the earth, and they also it was a guy. He says that he was teleported to Mars, and he spent time there. And he said a lot of the stuff that NASA uh, was doing was in secret, and that a couple of times they were caught in the background of footage, and then they end up losing that footage. So they said, and that this it all stemmed from what they found or what they colonized at the time when they was on Mars. But they've been on Mars since they said the late 50s, early 60s. And they've been colonized Mars since then. And that's how they knew about the face on Mars, and that they had also um, pyramids there as well. And when they went to actually take pictures, they tried to debunk it. That's why you are not able to get concrete uh, photo footage of Mars to this date. They changed the landscapes, the coloring, the real color of Mars. It's not as orange or so as they show you. Um, and the face on Mars, they made it blurry. They changed it. So yeah, it's a lot of cover up there as well. So there's no doubt that they're up there and that they're doing things. It's just the fact of their malicious intent of their project and how they're thought about this over several decades. So yeah. Um, in addition, we'd like to thank all our listeners, subscribers, those who are interested. Please continue. Email us, contact us. Take a gander at our library history, past episodes. I would recommend it, and that you will find some very interesting things. Um, uh, Again, like always, we encourage you to uh, study, research. Don't just take our word for it. You know, the more you research, the better you become, the better person you become, the better person I become, which will be a better today and a better tomorrow. Um, I'm Vessel One, signing out with Vessel Two. Vessel Two, as always, your final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I'd like to give a big shout out to Max Romeo, aka Maxwell Livingston Smith. The song that we played earlier, that's who sung it. His idea, concept, supported 100%. Iron shirts all day. People, the writing's on the wall. And it's not even in a damn language that you can understand, but you can see it. Pay attention to it. Stand on your square. Chase the devil out of the earth. Should be the mission. No backsliding on this mission. We need all hands on deck. This is the only way that we're going to survive this is if we come together and realize that we're all being plotted against. And these devils are not playing. They realize what they're doing, and it's up to us to put an end to it. So keep your head on the swivel. At all costs, we are not promoting violence. We are simply saying non-violence, non-participation. Say no. You don't have to say yes. We're not in the business of going along to get along. That does not work. What works? Research, investigate, think for yourself, critically think about your options, push forward. If you have one that you consider to be your loved one, please let them know. Until next episode, peace.
Peace.